from London. Keith, thank you for joining us. I wish you were here to speak with us at a time that wasn't so tragic, at a moment that wasn't so devastating. Can we just get your initial thoughts to what has unfolded today in Ahmedabad?
Well, Joshua, I think everyone is shocked, horrified, as you say, devastated by this news that has come out of Ahmedabad. This is an Air India flight carrying people to Gatwick, London's second largest airport, with, I would imagine, predominantly people from India who are coming to the UK. We don't know anything beyond that, their local origins. But obviously, Ahmedabad is the city that is best known to people in my home city of Leicester, which sometimes is described as the mini Gujarat. So we don't know who's on there. It would be wrong to speculate, but there is a strong connection between Leicester and Ahmedabad. Of course, for many, many years, people have campaigned for a direct flight between the capital of the Gujarat and London, and therefore there will be people travelling directly on this flight back to the UK. But I can't imagine what it must be like for people who know that their relatives were on this flight and who are making the journey from places like Leicester, Manchester, and other parts of London to Gatwick Airport in South London to receive their relatives.
Yes.
I think
Keith, just to bring in, sorry to interject there, just to bring some clarity, we've had reports and official reports that 53 British nationals were on board, 169 Indian nationals, 7 Portuguese people and 1 Canadian national as well. So there will be potentially dozens of families in Britain who are going to be directly impacted by this, potentially with loved ones on this flight. We wait for confirmation, but as Berzine, our previous guest, was saying, the level of fuel on board, rescue efforts are ongoing, and optimism is there, but there is concern. Keith, before I come back to you, I have a couple of quick updates. We've had a report come in that the plane has crashed into the hostel mess of the BJ Medical College. 20 students have reportedly been hospitalised. To bring you another update, we've had further confirmation that it was the BJ Medical College hostel mess in Meghani Nagar that was struck by this plane. We are now getting reports that many MBBS students have potentially lost their lives. We will wait for complete confirmation of this, but an incident of this tragedy, an incident of this nature, we are expecting devastating loss of life. The first bit of information we're receiving about people on the ground losing their lives, MBBS students, the plane crashing directly into the BJ Medical College UG hostel. I'll just bring you now a post that we have had from the US Embassy of India. On behalf of the US mission in India, we are deeply saddened by the tragic plane crash in Ahmedabad. Our heartfelt condolences and thoughts are with the families who have been affected by this horrific tragedy. We stand with India in this time of grief. Keith, I will come back to you. Of course, you have more knowledge than most about politics and ministerial duties. What will be the response now from the United Kingdom and the government, Keir Starmer's cabinet? We've heard from him, we've heard from David Lammy in statements. But how will they work with India to help assist in not just cleaning up this tragedy, but helping in investigate it?
Joshua, you're absolutely right. It's very important that the operations. Obviously, we have acknowledged the statements of the Prime Minister and the Foreign Secretary. What needs to happen now, and it should have happened by now, certainly from when I was a Foreign Minister, is that the British Deputy High Commission in Mumbai should have opened an emergency line. The best way of checking this out, I don't know that they've done this, but this is the normal response. Go onto the website of the Indian High Commission, British High Commission in Mumbai. There should be an emergency number for people to ring. Obviously, Air India will have its own emergency number, but the British response with 53 British nationals, and you mentioned Portuguese citizens, they are more likely than not coming, knowing where this plane is coming from, to also be people who have connections, strong connections with the UK, because many of the Daman and Diu community who live in Leicester do have Portuguese passports, but live in the UK. So the primary response should be an emergency number on the British High Commission website in Mumbai. It should be the first thing that's on there, where people can ring and find out what's happening. The second thing is officials from Mumbai should be flying immediately to the nearest airport to Ahmedabad. Obviously, Ahmedabad airport is suspended, so they can either go by road or they can go to a nearby airport and be there in order to assist those who have gone to the vicinity, who know people who've got on that plane. Similarly, at Gatwick Airport, Air India will by now have set up an emergency number so people can contact them. Some people will just go to Gatwick from the UK, even though they're watching this news. It's the natural instinct of people to do this. So hopefully Air India at Gatwick has also taken emergency precautions. There are protocols in place to make sure that the relatives are given information, and you are giving us updates in real time on NewsX, Joshua. But it is hoped, now that we have all this modern technology, that the numbers that people have been given when they book their flights are now being contacted. So people are being just given information about what is happening. Nobody has final figures. It'll be totally wrong to speculate. But from the point of view of the 53 Britons, the 7 Portuguese, and also all the Indians who are coming, Indian nationals coming to Gatwick to meet relatives who live in the UK, this is going to affect, as you say, thousands of people. It may only be 220 people or so on the flight, but thousands of people are going to be affected, as well as the relatives of those who are at medical college, who did not expect when they were in there today to have to face this kind of tragedy. So, one, the emergency services have to do their work. The Chief Minister has acted very quickly. I'm sure your aviation minister in India is doing everything that he can.
Yes.
But the response of the British should be to provide an emergency number. You should be able to ring up the British High Commission and get that number.
Absolutely. Keith, Vaz, thank you.